The correct way to build muscle is to go to the gym only if you have a terrible physique. So I myself, I don't go to the gym because I have pretty good muscle genetics. So if you do have the right genes, you don't have to do any type of workouts. I'm just physically active, I don't even do push-ups, and I still have a nice physique. No flex, but you know, I understand that some people may not have the right genes, so in that case I'm going to correct myself here, and I think that some amount of training should be done. I know it's not natural to lift weights, but you don't have to sit down on a chair all day. That's my argument. You know, our ancestors did in fact do a lot of moving. So if, you know, going to a basement and lifting man-made metal is something you don't want to do, then you can just do calisthenics, for example. Do some pull-ups, do some push-ups. And one thing I would train if I wanted to, if I ever got skinnier than I wanted to be, then I would train my side delts. So that's this muscle right here. And what that would do is give sort of like more of a masculine frame. It doesn't do much, but it kind of, you can see how this muscle looks terrible on this guy. How it just looks really skinny. And, you know, maybe a little bit of chest. I wouldn't train my back. I definitely wouldn't train my traps. If you do have a skinny neck, then doing some neck curls would really help you, because honestly the most important part is having a wide neck. The second most important muscle to train is your side delts, and then the third one would be, you know, whatever your weakness is. So maybe you have no chest at all, so then, you know, I would train some upper chest and some like lower chest, because you always want to prioritize upper chest, because if you overtrain your lower chest, then you will kind of look like a woman. You will have, you know, big muscles in this area, and it will kind of look like you have tits basically, and that's not a good thing. So prioritize the upper chest, so you can do incline dumbbell press for prioritizing the upper chest, or, you know, I guess you do push-ups on a decline. You can also do that, and that will prioritize your upper chest. But you don't want to overdo it, because that's going to be too stressful. You know, you're not going to get anything from overtraining. Or like, if you already have fat legs or big legs, then you have no point in actually training your legs. And some people are skinny just because of their diet. So if you get your hormones right, if you get your morning sunlight, if you get, you know, sunlight during the day, if you eat properly, you drink some raw milk, you gain some weight, then, you know, you probably won't even be that skinny anymore. You might notice. But if you have already done all of these things and you are still skinny, then I would consider doing some training. But in general, training legs is pretty pointless, because it's the most stressful muscle group to train. I still have trauma from doing leg days with high repetitions and heavy weights. That's just absolutely destroyed my nerves. So you want to do a few sets of lateral raises. So let's say 2 to 4 sets of lateral raises with low repetitions. So maybe like 6 to 8 reps. And you only do like the lower part of the motion. So basically when you move your arm up, then you move it to up about this angle. So after that, it's, you know, not really going to do much. This stretch position is what trains your side delt the most, and, you know, that's the same thing with any muscle group really. The stretched position always is the most effective positions. That's where you basically tear your muscle the most. That's when you cause the most damage. I don't think doing 2 to 4 sets of side delts and maybe a little bit of chest or biceps, whatever your weakness is, I don't think that's going to cause stress to a point where it's going to limit your height growth. So that's a little tip for you guys. Thanks for watching. Leave some comments and like the video. Alright, you can watch these videos right here. See ya.